young age, the trauma could be in the form of abuse, neglect, any form of trauma, anything you interpret at a young age that you can't understand, and is, really, really hurtful, and it will develop as some kind of trauma. And it's 90% of the time, it's the trauma we experience as children comes from our caretakers, because if we experience the trauma, from a say, for example, a different family member. Maybe you were raped as a kid by your uncle. But that could also develop as a trauma if you choose not to, tell your parents about it. You're ashamed of it. A lot of times as kids, when stuff happens to us, we are ashamed because we think it's because of us. If your parents have formed this amazing relationship with you, and you feel you can tell them about this, and your parents do everything they can to help you get through it. They have the resources to help you get through it. They make sure the uncle is is responsible for what he did in whatever way that will happen. I'm not a person who believes in punishing people. I don't get off on punishment. It's a weird, to me, it's a weird way the legal system works. And I would like to reform the entire legal system, but that's a different video. But the uncle needs to be responsible for what he did. In my world, ideally, he would he would be placed in a center where he gets deep therapy. They would this is in the future. This isn't how life works now. Ideally, in the future, we're going to have ways through technology that we can assess what functions of the brain are misfiring or overfiring. So he would get that because as when an uncle rapes a child, there is a neurochemical imbalance, and he would get the neuroscience attention that he needs. He would get deep therapy. He would get deep psychological services provided to him, and from there you can determine I'm biased because I'm a neuroscience student, but mostly with the help of neuroscience, you can determine whether someone or not is a sociopath or a psychopath, because of what's firing or overfiring in their brain, and what places in their brain light up, and what places in their brain are inactive, and what places in their brain aren't active. So that's how I would like things to start operating as a first measure of discipline. And the ignorance of it's wrong to rape a child. It's so wrong. But the ignorance of taking them to court and labeling them as a person who is horrible and disgusting and needs to be punishment, and then after they're sentenced to prison for however long, we all feel like, yeah, this is justice has been served, now they're suffering too, and now they can't hurt anyone else. This way of dealing with tragedies is archaic, and we're still practicing it because honestly we don't have the resources yet to trust in the fact that that person is going to, we're not going to feel justified by the resources we have now. So that's why we are still practicing this and still thinking this archaic, sadistic way of punishment. I think it's completely wrong, and it will not be this way in the future. People will stop thinking this way. If you do think this way now, it's because you are someone who is interested in why people do what they do. You believe in humanistic psychology. You need to get to the root cause of things, and or you're a humanitarian. You will also think like me. If you don't think this way, it's because you haven't tried, or you believe that bad people exist, or you believe that people deserve to be punished. I think that is it's a very common belief. I would say definitely the majority of people think that people deserve to be punished, and that unfortunately stems from religion. And very outdated way of thinking. I'm sorry, it's just, it's, really concerning for me that people, think that way. People need to be understood. We need to understand why people do what they do. Or ignorance is going to control the world. And you know what the greatest form of evil is? It's ignorance. Luckily, we're moving forward in time and not back in time. As we move forward, we are advancing as a society. The more discoveries we make, the more awareness we have, the more enlightened we are. Enlightenment is just something in our unconscious that has now become conscious. It's not, it's not some, Eastern mystical thing. It's very normal, and it's something that we should all be focusing on moving towards. Unconscious is the same as ignorance. It's the same thing. Unconscious people do bad things. Ignorant people do bad things. Look at the history of humanity. The history of humanity makes my stomach sick to death. The way we think now, the way the majority thinks now makes me sick to death. Only 70 or 80 years ago, we were gathering around outside, big group event, the excitement of the night, to watch a person get murdered because of the color of their skin. It's literally so sickening. It's like so disturbing to me. Because it's, the reason that we were doing that, and, the reason that racism exists is because of ignorance, and because we are not conscious. Everything's on a spectrum. The uncle who raped the little girl is on the same spectrum that you are on if you are a racist. You may not be as far down on the spectrum as that uncle is. You may not be as ignorant and as unconscious as that uncle is, but you are still on that same spectrum of unconsciousness and ignorance. We're all unconscious and ignorant, but how unconscious and ignorant we are, most of us are in control of that unless we have a mental illness that is literally inhibiting us from being in control of it. This is like something that really bothers me, because I'm ignorant, I'm unconscious, but as I progress in my life, just as in we progress as a society in time, I realize something happens, and I realize, oh my God, I've been wrong about something really huge, and it's affected all areas of my life, because that was my behavior, and because it was unconscious and I wasn't aware of it, I was acting it out, and oh my God, it was wrong. So, I have really bad, I have, like, really, really, really horrible, ADD, and, I completely deferred, from talking about narcissism, which is what I meant to talk about. So I will now make a different video specifically talking about narcissism. So I will make my point in this video being that don't think that you're right about everything, because too many times this has happened to me where I have this moment where I realize, oh my god, I was wrong about a really impactful thing that affects other people and that affected my life. And it happens over and over and over again for me, that I realize I'm wrong, I'm wrong, oh, I'm wrong. So be open to the way that you think now being wrong. Or else, if you don't accept that the way you think and the things you believe could be wrong, life may smack you in the face and force you to realize that you are wrong. And it's going to be really, really, really startling. It will occur as a crisis, because you weren't prepared to be wrong. So I share my opinion, and I not because I am convinced that this is the truth, this is right, I am right. But so we can think about being a healthier society, healthier people, healthier ways of thinking. Because thinking in terms of good and bad, people are either, good or bad. People either deserve to get punished or not punished. Is not a healthy way to think. And to get our satisfaction from someone being punished is like very, very sadistic. It's super sadistic. And most everyone does it. Sadism stems from the mindset of this horrible thing got done to me, now I'm going to do it to you. So why is it that Jacob got raped by his uncle as a child, and now he's older, he's an adult, and he feels that because he got raped, or he thinks that because he got raped as a child, then another child, he needs to get revenge and rape a child because it was done to him and it hurt him. We all know that's wrong, but why is it when it comes to the legal system that it's right? There's Jacob, the adult who raped the child, but we don't care about his psychology, how the trauma affected his mind, if he ever got the care he needed. We don't care. We say there's no excuse to rape a child. And we say, we don't care about your reason. You're a bad person, you raped a child. And because you raped the child, now you're gonna go to prison. And we all know what happens in prison. People rape people. And now you're gonna go to prison and get what you deserve. And everyone, everyone involved, the court system feels, they have, given the justice to the family, given justice to the world, given letting people know what's right and wrong. When actually what they're doing is exactly what was done to Jacob when he was a child and his uncle raped him. And then he did the same thing, and now the court system is doing the same thing. The court system is saying, you did something bad. So now we are angry about it, and we want revenge. So we're gonna take revenge on you. Because that's what you deserve. That's the same thinking that adult Jacob used when he raped the child. Why is it that, and I'm sure after Jacob raped the child, you know what he felt? He probably felt relief. he probably felt good. Because in the case that it was, if it were the case that was done to him, he feels a sense of justice doing it to another child. And as a society, we feel a sense of justice doing it to the perpetrator. Yet, no one in the legal system thinks beyond the fact that someone who does something bad, adult who does something bad, deserves punishment. No one in the legal system thinks beyond it. People in academia think beyond it. Maybe someone, anyone can think beyond it. People who question things think beyond it. The legal system doesn't care about psychology or neuroscience or how behavior works or how trauma changes neurochemistry, or that people are born with different neurochemistry. Some people are born with neurochemical imbalances that affect their behavior. All the legal system cares about is determining whether someone deserves punishment. First of all, I believe that no one deserves punishment. Second of all, the legal system is basing whether someone deserves punishment or not on the thing they did. They are not thinking about anything else. That is the most irresponsible use of authority. People do things because of so many factors. So many factors. But people believe, and the legal system believes, if you're an adult and you do something bad, you're responsible for it, and there's no excuse. there's not an excuse for bad behavior, but it's our responsibility as people and as a society to seek to understand why people do what they do. Not to believe that there's just good people and then there's bad people, and good people do good things and bad people do bad things, and that's how life works. I don't know how many times I have talked to people where, you know, something bad, I hear about something bad happening to somebody or something bad happened to me, and I'm like, you know, why did this person do this? And time after time, I've gotten the response from, you know, people 30 years, 20 years older than me. So they've had a much longer time than me to figure or question these things themselves. But they haven't. And their response is, we'll never know why. People do things that are unexplainable, and we don't know why people do bad things, and we never will. There's no explanation for that kind of behavior. And I am like, yes, there is. Like, yeah, there is. And, for people who think like that, they are, followers of society, and they are people who believe what the majority believes, and they let society tell them what to think. And so for people like that, maybe it's not their responsibility to question things, but the people who do question things and the people who do think about things deeply are responsible for proving this is how human behavior works, and then impacting society, enlightening society, impacting the legal system, because we have now proven this is the truth behind behavior, and now we have to have reform in the legal system. And now those people who are, you know, followers, that's not an insult. I'm just saying there are people who are followers, and their, life purpose is to do something, cool that I can't do. Um, if you don't think, if you just accept what society tells you, then there's a multitude of ways or reasons you might do that. Probably the main reason being it is how is the history of humanity that if you go, against the pack, you're rejected from the pack, and your chance of survival is less. That's way back when. And we evolve a little bit, and then we evolve a little bit, and then it becomes people speaking up and saying the majority of the way society and the legal system works is wrong. It's wrong to think this way. And it is the same thing, except way back when, if you're rejected from the pack, you may have less chance of survival because you're more likely to get killed by not having the shelter or the fire, or get killed by some sort of animal, or whatever. Not now. The 1800s, early to mid 1900s, it's if you speak out from the pack and say, hey, you guys, this is wrong, your chance of rejection from people, it's likely, but now we can handle it. We're not gonna lose our house or heating, anything like that, but you're still risking your chance of survival, because these people who speak out about what's right and what's wrong, they get killed. Someone decides, you deserve to die because you're saying these things. Martin Luther King Jr., just one example. When people believe something and it's threatened, I'm sure the person who killed, Martin Luther King Jr. had some type of neurochemical imbalance. But when people believe something and it's threatened, it could be so threatening to them that if they have some kind of mental illness, they want to kill the person who is threatening their beliefs, because when something we believe is threatened for people with normal neurochemistry, it changes who we are and how we see things, and that's really scary. It's a scary thing to have that happen. So people who are followers, you know, that's just one reason why someone would unconsciously be a follower, is they're protecting their survival. Or they're protecting their survival, or they are just not someone who thinks deeply about things, because that's okay, because they're really good at something else. For the people who do question things, the people who do think deeply, the people who don't accept what they're told just because they're told something, it's our responsibility to change society, change the way things work in society that we believe are wrong. And if you are involved in academia, the best and most solid way of making an effective change on society is proving it. Prove that something is that this is how things work. And once that is proven, the legal system, the law, has to accept that, because we've proved it. And once the people who are in charge of society accept that, then the followers of society will accept that. This turned into not totally nothing about narcissism. So I'm definitely going to label this video as something else. Clearly this is something I felt like needed to come out. So if you think this way, or if you're in academia and you're involved in research or going into research, use it to make a difference in the world. And that's so important. If you can do that, then your life and the impact you've had, you've lived an extremely rewarding life. So yeah, I hope this video is inspiring to the people who want to make a difference in the same way that I do. Okay, bye.